Just like that. Just like that. The whole year 2025 went boom, gone. Some people think nothing happened. Ho, ho! They must have their head stuck somewhere. I'm not going to say where, but you can figure that out. You know, those who have their heads stuck up there. I told you I'm not going to go there. Oh, they think nothing happened, but I tell you, 2025, lots happened. And I think we're in for a big year of tons of things happening right out in the open for 2026. Hang on to your bootstraps. I think we're in for a wild ride. Hi there, Neil here, the Twisted Light Worker. Yes, another year has gone by, and 2025 is now his story, history. And so many people who are following the Truther movement and who've been involved in the Q from the very beginning, we know that there's been lots happening. But the people who have only been following it kind of in a shallow way, they think they're awake, but they haven't got a clue how to read the comms still. They haven't got a clue how to follow Q, and they haven't got a clue how to put the pieces of the pie together, pieces of the puzzle. There's many pieces to this puzzle. Lots of things dribbled out a little bit into mainstream come the whole year of 2025. Let's see, we wrote a few things down now. Just recently, the Charlie Kirk thing and his wife coming out. A lot of puzzles going on around that, but in the Q post it said that they're saving Israel for last, and it won't be mentioned again for a very specific reason. Well, Charlie Kirk, that attempted assassination, whatever it really was, yep, that is exposing Israel. You listen to what's going on around that. Israel ties into Epstein. Now the Epstein files, they've come out into the open. They keep dropping out redacted information. Well, sooner or later the transparency is going to come out, and it's going back to 2016. When Trump was in his inauguration, he said we're putting power back to the people. But the people haven't united yet to start demanding transparency. People still have yet to unite and call for action. It's up to us. We are the ones that we're waiting for. Now that is a deep statement. I'll touch on that a little bit later, how deep it really is. We are the ones that we are waiting for. So we have the Charlie Kirk. That's going to be tied into Israel, which is going to be tied into Epstein, which is going to be tied into the Wiener laptop, to Pizzagate, to everything around Pizzagate, to Hunter Biden, to all the Biden family, actually. All of it's going to be connected. And then we have the Clintons with the Clinton Foundation. That's going to hit the news real soon. And, of course, we had Biden's auto pen. Now, that auto pen actually hit mainstream news a little bit. So now we're finally at that stage where the big reveal, the exposure of everything that has been going on behind the scenes for the last 10 years is going to start coming out into the open for everyone to see. And it's the pedophilia. It's been said a long time ago, when the truth of pedophilia hits the mainstream news, that will unite all of the sleeping and the awake. And it's up to the awake people to be ready for that. We've got a lot on our shoulders. So many people are sitting back and they're waiting for 𝓱𝓮𝓻𝓮 to come out with their silver prices to make a fortune. Well, I hope they do make a good fortune. I bought just a few coins that I could afford myself. So I'm hoping to make a little bit of money on that too, but that's not what this Great Awakening is all about. It's not what this Great Awakening is all about.
Tonight's your big night. You ready for it? Are we ready for it? Are we ready for it? Are we ready for it?
What else has hit the news? We got Obamagate, Russiagate. We've got the 2020 election fraud. Now, the election fraud, that's going to start to wake people up on the whole Earth realm, because the elections in the whole Earth realm, not just in the United States, were controlled by the cabal for centuries. For centuries. And the fall of the Federal Reserve, the fall of the monetary system that we grew up with, that's in the process of happening. And silver prices skyrocketing just recently is evidence that we're turning back to the gold standard, and the 𝓱𝓻𝓸𝓭𝓮 is real, and it's all happening one tiny step at a time. And it has to happen in slow motion, so to speak. It has to, because there's still too many people who have their head up their butt. They're sleeping still, and they can't see what's going on. And the truthers who really know what's going on, we're all patient, because we realize how massive this operation really is. It's huge. From one corner of this Earth realm right to the other, from the North Pole to the South, all the way. Every aspect of humanity will be touched by the changes that are taking place. It's a huge, huge, huge operation. So as Epstein comes out into the open, and another million documents supposedly been just recently found. So eventually they're going to come out and they're going to be unredacted. Sure, there's going to be some hidden facts in there that are not necessary for the whole of humanity to understand. But there's an awful lot that's taking place that will be brought out into the open. So 2025 is finished. And 2026, welcome to 2026. Now, one more thing. Just at the very end of 2025, what did we have? Yeah, we had Nick Shirley and his revealing of all of the Somalia corruption. Now, if you don't see that there's lots happening, and if you can't develop some patience around that, you're not awake at all. You're really not awake at all. You have to go right back to the Fall of Cabal series and watch them all, 22, 23 episodes of that particular series. You can find them on Rumble, the Fall of Cabal. You may have to go back and watch everything that's in those videos to finally put the pieces together. The pieces of this puzzle are many. And the fact that it's taking this long is not a long time. It's rapidly coming to the end. There's so much that had to be put into place. Let's face it, if we're going to take down the old monetary system and replace it with a new, and we have to do it in the way that's going to be as smooth as possible for all of humanity. Have you any comprehension of just how big of an operation that is? There's so many millions of pieces to this puzzle, and they all have to fall into place in a way that's going to be the least disruptive on the whole Earth realm to all of humanity. So this Q plan, this Q operation, this shifting from the dark to the light, it's going to take some time yet. But what do we have? We have eternity. Creative source, God, gave us eternal life. And so we have eternity. So don't get too impatient about it. We have lots of time ahead of us. Lots of time ahead of us. We have to learn some things about how to stand in your power. What does it really mean to put on the armor of God? Q told us many times to put on the armor of God. And he also told us many times the evil ones are stupid. And he used the word stupid. Look it up. Do a Q search for how many times he said these people are stupid. It's amazing. And you see, malice can be controlled. It can be countered. But stupidity has to be evolved. This is a consciousness evolution of mankind, where we learn to be conscious of everything that's going on. And in doing so, we start to tap into that universal power that's inside each and every single cell of your body and mine. And that is what putting on the armor of God is all about. See, the average man is either victorious or defeated, and depending on that, he becomes a persecutor or a victim. These two conditions are prevalent as long as one does not see. Seeing dispels the illusion of victory and defeat or suffering. Put some thought into what that really is saying. It's huge. That's a huge statement. It's an absolute powerful statement. The average man is victorious or defeated. You see people who are impatient, and they're defeated. Why? They just don't know what's going on yet. They think they know, but they haven't got a clue. Otherwise, they would be worrying about their own connection to Source, to tap into that spirit of the divine that's inside each and every single cell of their body. That is really what the awakening is all about. So if they're tapped into victory or defeat, then they're of the average man. And therefore, they are either victorious or a victim, one or the other. And yet, there is no such thing as victory or defeat. It's just life in itself. And to a warrior, life itself is enough. It's enough. So what we have after that is we have a warrior takes responsibility for his acts. For the most trivial of acts, the average man acts out his thoughts and never takes responsibility for what he does. That's something I see all the time. People who are always pointing their finger at other people, and they don't realize that three fingers point back at themselves when they point a finger at other people. If you point the finger at white hats, they should be doing more. Point the finger at Trump, how come he's not doing more? No, the solution is the three fingers that are pointing back. Trump said, we're turning back the power to we the people. That means we have to learn how to stand in our power. We have to learn how to get involved in cleaning up our own locations, right where we live. And it starts with cleaning up the cobwebs in our own mind and learning how to research, learning how to think critically, learning how to have discernment, spiritual discernment. We're returning to the sacred. We are returning to the sacred. And as we do, that spiritual divinity that's inside each and every single cell of our bodies become more and more attuned to it. We become more attuned to that spiritual divinity that's in ourselves. Yeah, that God spark that's inside you, that's inside me, that's inside every cell of our bodies. That's inside each and every cell of our bodies. So the warrior takes responsibility for every act, even the most trivial of acts, like brush your teeth, trivial act. Get up in the morning. Take care of your physical being. The average man just acts out his thoughts. They never take responsibility for what they do. They always blame somebody else. Well, I'll tell you what, it's nobody else's problem. It's yours and mine. As individuals, we are the ones that we're waiting for. Now, I said that I was going to make a little bit more statement around that, but let's take a look here. What have we got? When we shift our energy from fear to power with compassion, we will find we were always loved beyond human understanding. It takes willpower to get the human It takes willpower to get the ego out of the ways and silence so that we can actually hear that wee small voice of the divinity that's inside. It's not a passive act. It's action with the power of intent to stop the ego's chatter and lead us to freedom. That's the discipline of awakening. And very few people want to accept any responsibility for that because they're pointing their finger outward. They're looking for solutions in their reading and in their studies. The solution lies within. It's not about the archons. It's not about all of the shapeshifters. It's not about the reptilians and all of that. No, you're looking at all those possibilities. Maybe they're true, maybe they're not true. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is the source of divinity is inside you. And if you're looking anywhere outside you, you are not looking for the truth of who you are and how you can make a difference. How you can make a difference to this global awakening that's happening from the North Pole to the South. So once again, when we shift our energy from fear to power with compassion, we will find we were always loved beyond human understanding. So there's no use searching for love. You're already loved way beyond human understanding. This whole earth realm is for us to experience life. Now that's a big gift. That's a huge gift. And you're worried about what's happening with the white hats? So many people are not even concerned about that. They're worried about their own bank accounts. How minuscule of a issue that is when you look at the human trafficking and Pizzagate and taking down the globalist agenda. Your bank account is insignificant to the greater whole. It's only significant to you personally. It's time to stretch out of this little box that we live in. We don't live in a box, we live in this earth realm. And we get to experience the love of light, the love of God, and the peace profound that can be generated right from the spark of the divine that's inside each and every single cell of your body. It's massive, this potential that we have. It's massive. See, awakening is a belief-shattering, confusing journey that rips you apart, leaving you face to face with your authentic self. The clarity of who you really are is a resulting forever expanding glory. It's ineffable. Awakening is a belief-shattering journey that rips you apart, leaving you face to face with your authentic self. Who you are, really. Who you are, really. Who were you before you entered this body and entered this earth realm? Who will you be when you leave? Your authentic self is divine. Your authentic self is the soul personality of your inner being, your higher self, your complete connection to the Holy Spirit and God within. God hath not given the spirit of fear, but of love and of power and sound mind. Don't get hung up on just the love. There's power. There's power in that connection. That power should mean that you have no worries. You don't have any impatience. Divine mind, powerful mind, strong mind. That means you're able to research on your own. There's so many people that haven't got a clue how to research. Researching, categorizing all the information, putting the nonsense into a file of nonsense so that when you file it, it's filed there properly. So many people get into this nonsense that they believe that observe everything but absorb nothing. But only absorb what you want to absorb. That's not the way it works. Garbage in, garbage out. If you observe, guess what's happening? You're absorbing. So the solution there is observe, but observe with some spiritual discernment. Observe with research and critical thinking so that you categorize what you observe and to put it into the right filing folder. If it's nonsense, you don't want to just leave it sitting there as something that you observed and a possibility. No, You want to be able to file it properly so that people who believe that you observe and without absorbing, they don't have a clue how the mind works. They don't. Hypnotism, you can take a person back to a particular part in their life and they'll remember the smells in the room, the colors in the room, and even what clothes the other person in the room was wearing. 5 years later, if they can tap into that part of their memory bank in hypnosis, they can do all of the above. So everything that you observe is filed. Use some discernment, use some critical thinking, use some researching, and categorize what you're filing so that it won't have influence on you in a negative manner later. I'm giving you a whole lot of information, and that's kind of my style. I like to be blunt and terse and to the point. I have to learn how to be a little bit more of a teacher and lead people into the issues and the points that I want to expand upon. But in this video, I'm just going to hit you with a whole bunch of facts and a whole bunch of realities that you maybe don't know. But it's impossible to observe without absorbing. So you better make sure that when you observe something that you file what you're observing into the right category in your mind so it won't have negative influence on your life in the future. That's up to you. You have to use spiritual discernment. Touch base with that spark of the divine inside you. And before you post something, make sure that you use that discernment so that you, in your heart and mind, have come to the conclusion of what value it is that you're posting. I have some people that I'm aware of and connected to that post all kinds of nonsense. Just crap. Absolute crap. I've even seen people believe AI pictures of cats hatching chickens. I'm sure those blue whales coming up out of the water were real and they flew around the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. People have no critical thinking skills and they don't use their discernment whatsoever. These are tasks that you and I have to do in this Great Awakening. There's so much more to this Great Awakening than most people think that there is. So it's a belief-shattering and confusing journey that rips you apart, leaving you face to face with your authentic self. Clarity of who you really are is the resulting forever expanding glory, and that is truly ineffable. So 2026, here we are at the very beginning. What are you going to do to connect to that divine that's inside you? What are you going to do to claim your sovereignty in this Great Awakening? Are you going to learn a little bit of common law? Are you going to learn to understand a little bit of natural law? No books on it because it's from the creative source. So therefore, are you going to strengthen your connection to the divine that's inside you? God hath not given the spirit of fear, but of love and of power and sound mind. Are you going to access all three of those gifts? All three of those gifts, love, power, and sound mind, are ours. God has given every single one of us all three of those gifts in abundance. So how much of those gifts are you tapping into for your life? Or are you still pointing your finger saying that it's the white hat's responsibility to do it for you? Are you still pointing your finger and saying that somebody else has to do the research and answer all your questions so that you don't have to do any research yourself? Three fingers are pointing back at us. Three fingers pointing right back at us. We are the ones that we're waiting for. And I said that I was going to get deeper onto that. So here it is. If we're waiting for ourselves, what does that mean? It's deep. We are the ones who are waiting for that piece of us that's purely divine. That piece of us that's totally and entirely 110% connected to Source, to God. We're waiting for ourselves to connect with our conscious mind. When we are the ones who we are waiting for, that's an individual thing. That's not a whole bunch of people getting together to do something as a team. No, we're waiting for ourselves to catch up to ourselves. That's a whole new topic. There's a lot of depth and wisdom to the points that I share. Some of it just seems to be over most people's heads because it's new thoughts. So I encourage you to listen to some of my videos more than once, because it takes a long time to build that connection to source, build that connection to who you really are. Remember, reconnect to all that parts of you that lies dormant in your DNA. Awakening is a big job. To be a warrior in this world, in this changing world, in this amazing time of awakening, is more than just reading a book and following a few podcasters. It's getting to know who you are, truly who you are. And as we continue on down the path of getting to know who we are, by 2030, 𝓱𝓻𝓸𝓭𝓾𝓬𝓮 will have kicked in, and some of the patents that have been held back will be right out in the open. All kinds of investment opportunities are going to open up for people, and we will thrive and be happy, and I call that 𝓱𝓲𝓷𝓭𝓾. I encourage you to go back and take note of all of the points that I hit hard on, terse as I am, to the point. Oh, and to the point, a big thank you to everybody who's bought me a coffee. The Buy Me a Coffee link is actually in the description down below. I'm going to have to do a little bit of something more this year, because in the 300 plus videos that I've made, and like probably around 500,000 views on the videos on all the different platforms that I share my videos on, I'm not making enough donation money to get by, so I'm going to have to monetize my channel, and been involved in network marketing before, and I have my eyes set on a program that looks pretty good. I'm going to do some more investigating into it, so I might be bringing that to your attention. There may be a few other things that I do to monetize my channel, because like I said, I'm going backwards, and I can't afford to go backwards anymore. I burned up my bank account, bought a few silver coins, and now I'm starting over again, a little 400 square foot flat, but I have everything that I need in this great world, because everything that you need is just this life experience itself, tapping into more of the divinity that's in me, so that I can tap into that divinity that's in you through my talks. And as always, wish you and yours peace profound.